Hello everyone. Thank you for joining this session. In today's session, we will discuss a new decentralized way because we have covered the solo mining, centralized mining pool. We have also covered running your own node. But today, we will cover an interesting topic. Uh, you might have read about this Bitshala article that is on Braidpool, which is talking about mining decentralization and how it works in a peer-to-peer manner. So before going through this article, we will see the basics first, because I know few of them have pinged me earlier regarding to know more about Breadpool. So let us discuss this thing in starting. So maybe first I will break down how we can do the mining in a simple term, and then we will see when this thing, because Braidpool, the open source decentralized Bitcoin mining pool project, is started in recently. Once I'm saying recently, that means around December 2023. Let me open my notepad. Yes. So we have initially discussed about centralized pool mining, in which, if you remember, we have covered all the centralized pool which you are seeing right now in mempool, the F2 pool, ARN pool, Foundry USA. And if you will cover ARN pool, Foundry USA, F2 pool, they might be covering more than 50% of the hash rate of the Bitcoin. So these are the way, if you have the miner, you can point your hash rate to the centralized mining pool and you can earn the rewards. There are different categories, how much contribution you are doing. Based on that, you can also receive the reward. So this is a centralized pool mining. What are the disadvantages? Like most of the centralized mining pool at the moment are running on Stratum V1. So they will create the template and share with you. You as a miner will only do not have authority to choose the transactions or create your own template. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of the centralized mining pool, because thousands of miner will join one company like F2 pool. The company runs like a brain, so it will give the template to everyone what to mine, what the content should be. These things they will share, and after that, based on your hash rate, they will start paying you your share. So you get it small, but you will get some steady payment every day. But the only thing is these are centralized, like Ant Pool, Foundry, USA, and all those things. Then another thing which comes, that is solo mining pool. So we have discussed about Brain Solo Pool. We have discussed about uh, CK Pool, which have servers in Australia, in US, in Europe. So what you can do that in that case, you are not being the part of the centralized mining pool. You are running as a solo miner. So you connect your machines straight to the Bitcoin network. And if you win the lottery, you keep something around 98.5 or something, because every like Atlas pool will be having around 1.5% commission they will take, because uh, they will be running as a solo mining pool. So they will take some cut. You will see all those details in their website. Similar, like if you go to CK pool, in that also you can see how much cut. So they will roughly take 2.5%. So in that, you don't need to run your own node. They will provide you the template and everything, but you will be running as a solo miner. So if you solve the puzzle, you will get the whole reward. minus 2.5% what they will take. Okay, that thing is already written in the mining block. So I can show you. Let us suppose you go to CK pool. If you search on mempool dot space, you will find it out how many blocks mined using CK pool, right? So if you click here, that block contains the data, and this is the newly generated coin, which is a coin base, which is 3.21 BTC, and the transaction fees that you will be receiving on your own address, and there will be cut of 2.5 that will receive from CK pool. So this is the solo mining pool was second method. Third method, people say we don't need to use the pool. I just want to run my own node like Umbrella OS or uh, Umbrella or any. You can also run. There are some open source project. You can also make your own uh, node, run it, communicate using your miner using a datum protocol. So instead of stratum, you can use datum and you can communicate. In that, you will take whole 100% because you don't need to give commission to everyone. You are the one creating the template. You are the one adding the transactions. You are the one mining the block. So this is the third one, which is solo mining. But now we have seen another one, which is Braidpool, which is decentralized and peer to peer pool. So Braidpool is an open source project which was officially started around 2023 last in November or December. And the primary developer was Bob. And they think that why make centralized when all the miners can compute in a peer-to-peer manner. So maybe you guys might have heard about this term peer-to-peer a lot because there are so many things. There is peer-to-peer network, there is peer-to-peer communication messages, messenger. And if you, I'm not sure whether you are aware of some of the application which runs on peer-to-peer. I can share some of them. So one is Keat. So Tether is investing heavily on peer-to-peer communication. So there is a technology called hole punch. Okay, so the technology is hole punch. If you search about it, you will find it out. This is an open source. You can use this technology and create a modular stack using peer-to-peer communication. Okay, so there are so many apps. You can see the Keat. So Keat is nothing but an end-to-end encrypted, uh, think like a Discord, right? Discord or WhatsApp, Telegram. Those are having some server, right? So Keat is a decentralized, end-to-end encrypted P2P uh, messaging app or the calling app in which you can uh, take you can communicate between each other using this P2P, peer-to-peer. Okay. There are so many others as well, like Peer Pass is also one of them. If you search about it, you will get to know about it more. So this is also open source peer-to-peer syncing mechanism, right? You might be thinking, okay, these are all new technologies. So maybe earlier there was nothing related to P2P proposed by anyone. And now in 2021, 22, 23, people started thinking more about peer-to-peer pool and they started doing that. But this is not correct because if you will see this, so before that, I just want to know if anyone is aware of who is Gavin Ederson because you might see let me zoom little bit so it should be visible to everyone. So this is from Gavin Ederson, and he is one of the most prominent early figure in Bitcoin history. So if I would say around 2010, and when Satoshi handed over the control, he or she, who was Satoshi, he handed over the whole control of this source code repository that time directly to Gavin, and he was the lead developer for Bitcoin Core. That time, around 2015, he himself has proposed about something called weak blocks. You might be thinking, what is weak blocks? Because we haven't covered weak blocks in our previous session. So bear with me, I will cover all those technicals step by step. So the idea was, if you will read little bit about it, I will not read the full. I will share the link maybe in the mining group so you can have it look and you can read more about it. There are some Reddit, I think, posts. So earlier it was a group. Um, it was Bitcoin Next. If I will able to find it out, let me see. I can share. It is still there. Yes. At that time, uh, the same weak block concept, let me see if I can find it out. Weak block. Yes, I think we can. So that time, the weak block concept has been proposed, but the problem was why people did not take that is seriously around 11 years ago, if I would say 11 years ago, because 2015 is around 11 years ago now. Because that time the Bitcoin war was focused more on the Bitcoin size. Because if you remember, that time there was two community. One community wanted to scale Bitcoin by increasing the base block size limit via hard fork, and that like Gavin was also supporting that. And there was a small blockers wanted to keep the base block size small to protect node decentralization. So that time people just avoided this proposal and they haven't looked seriously for this weak block concept. Now, after these all those things, weak block concept, then you might be thinking, okay, the weak block concept came just by Braidpool. No, there was a previous pools. I'm not sure, but you might have heard about P2P pool. So that was also trying to use this decentralized model, similar like weak blocks. Now you might be thinking, what is weak block? Okay, so let me cover this thing. So if you read this thing, maybe you will get a little bit better understanding. So he's saying, I have been thinking about weak blocks and SPV mining, and it seems to me weak blocks will make things better, not worse, if we improve the mining code a little bit. Why he's saying make things better? Because there are two problems in mining. One is stale block because let us suppose I'm a solo miner living in India and there is another miner living in US. He might have better pool, better latency pool. If we will mine the block at the same time exactly, but I will not get the reward because my latency is little higher, and maybe someone from US who is using a US based mining pool, maybe he will able to broadcast those information little faster than me, and my block will become stale. I will not get any reward. The 3.125 plus the transaction fees will go to that guy, and I'm losing that share. So that is the one problem. Another problem was people were moving towards all those centralized mining pool because they were not getting rewards. Like as a solo miner, if you are if you don't have enough hash rate, maybe you have a very little chance to win a lottery. And people who is doing this business, maybe they want some steady income. So they were trying to use those decentralized pool and all those things. And that time, if we will use this concept of weak block, so the idea of weak block was there is so minor. Okay, so here you will read this little carefully. So here it is saying miners to pre-announce block that they are working on before they have solved the proof of work puzzle. So in layman terms, I would say earlier what we were doing, like if we found the block, we will start saying, okay, I have completed this. Let's check whether my solution is correct or not, right? If I have in a session, if someone give you the question or the problem or puzzle to solve, you will keep trying it, and once you feel that you have solved it, you will just ask everyone that I have solved it, just verify it, right? But instead of doing this, you will keep saying your progress. So you have to pre-announce the block, like, okay, I have done 10%, I have reached this, I have reached that. So you have to keep updating that. So that was the concept of weak block, which may not be the final block, which may not be this block. Okay, so between that, there could be so many weak blocks, which is showing that you are doing some proof of work and you should get rewarded based on that. And that will be fully decentralized. What I'm trying to convey here is if you are using a, let's let us suppose if you are using F2 pool, right? So right now the reward will directly go to F2 pool. You will not get the reward. You should trust F2 pool that once the block will get mine, F2 pool should give you your share. So this is the trust right now you are assuming. If F2 pool wants, they can revoke it and they will not share any shares with you. They can block your account, you will not get anything. So this is the main concern here. Okay, but in this, everything was P2P. That means everything is already written in the weak blocks that how much you have uh, proof of work you have done, how many weak blocks you have created, and based on that, you will get those. So maybe I will go a little further here. You will get a more information. So I think you get the basic idea. If we will read this article, so we have seen what is Braidpool. So Braidpool is decentralized mining pool. Before that, maybe I want to cover P2P pool as well because uh, the Braidpool solves this centralization and scalability vulnerability, but he is not the one who started doing that. Maybe he is doing it in a better way. That earlier there was a older decentralized model which is P2P. If you search about this, you will get more about it. Okay. So in that, initially, because right now I'm not sure whether anyone is using P2 pool, but that was also a decentralized concept. And what they were trying to do and why they were not able to successfully do it, there were some issue and which Braidpool have improved little bit. So in uh, P2 pool, they were also saying that everything is decentralized. But if you will see here, okay, so this is monopoly as we discussed. If you will see this image, you will get to know that 50% is self-foundry USA and non-pool. This is the same. If you remember last time I've shared the link in that the whole details is there about this and the image is also from that. If you calculate that two miner or even if three miner have more than 50% of the share, if you include a foundry, aunt and VIBTC, okay? Then yes. So if you will see here, now you will understand P2 pool. So in those, they were trying to make a decentralized template. They want to make sure there should not be any censorship. But the only problem was in P2 pool, like you don't have any centralized server. So there should not be any F2 pool. There will not be any solo mining pool, nothing. You have to run your custom node. So in, okay, in P2 pool, you have to run your custom node. That is the one thing. So you have to run a node that communicates peer to peer with other P2 pool miners. And then together they maintain a parallel blockchain. They call it as a share chain. So everything is shared. Okay, so in that, what will happen? Just like this, we have everything linear, right? Like this block was mined by F2 pool, then this block was mined by P2, sorry, pool in, then pool in, then. So this is a chain, right? Each block after one block. So this is a linear flow, and I would say that this is linear and connected, right? One by one. So the same logic P2 pool was also using. So they were using a custom node which will use peer-to-peer communication, but still there is a problem of stale block, just like here. Because if everything is in linear, what will happen? BTC.com. Okay, so here let me go back to the latest one. So if you will see F2 pool mined a block in 23 minutes ago, it might happen that I have also mined a block just 23 minutes, 59 seconds, or the same time zone, right? Or the same time. But maybe F2 pool has a better connectivity and that's why he is able to broadcast it well. So my block will shown below as a stale block and I will not get any reward. F2 pool will get reward, right? So this was also the problem with P2 pool because it may happen that they are using weak blocks, which we have covered, right? But those weak blocks also connected this way. One, two, three, four, five, sorry, five, right? It might happen in this time. There was one more guy who was able to mine a weak block, but because he was able to broadcast it well using their custom node, that's why it is coming. So P2 pool was using linear blockchain structure, which we have seen here. So there was the issue of a stale block. That is the one thing, because small miners may not be able to uh, broadcast sometimes as fast as other person having higher bandwidth. And another thing, there was a custom limit or size of this weak blocks there. And if you want to scale the whole thing, it will become a huge chunk of Bitcoin block space. And even for payout script and pricing script, maybe it will not work well when you increase the scale. That is the main problem in peer-to-peer technology. You might be thinking Keat, I'm aware of Keat, like I was using Keat in 2024, but still these technologies are not very, very powerful, because once you are doing peer-to-peer, then if so many users are there, the load would be so much that peer runtime engine will not able to cover whole thing. Maybe for messaging, yes, but I remember there was one a team in Lugano. They were making a social media using this whole punch stack. But only problem was, once the users are less, it will work losslessly. But if the users are more, like Instagram, Facebook, then not possible whether this will able to scale or not if has not been designed correctly. So in P2P technologies, scaling is always an issue. And that was the issue in P2 pool flop, because they were using linear blockchain. So first thing is, shares must form a single fine chain, and how many weak blocks you have contributed, based on that you will get the reward. So the idea was, right now if you are running a solo miner, what will happen? If you mine the block successfully, you will get the reward. If you don't mine the block successfully, you will not get the reward. So sometimes solo miner is keep running for more than 3 months, maybe not able to find the lottery, right? But in Braidpool, as you are contributing, or even in P2Pool, you are contributing on weak blocks. So weak blocks means the difficulty would be less as compared to the main block one. So they will decide internal the configuration and all those things would be there. And in that case, they will lower the difficulty. They will make you easier target, and miner will find and run those things. Okay. Because in a normal Bitcoin, the single state chain, like one block after another, right? And here also P2 pool, one block after another, but those are weak blocks, not the successfully mined blocks. But how many you have contributed? Let us suppose you have contributed 4. So they have some mechanism like the last n number of shares. And this is not the trust model, because here we are talking about peer to peer. So everything is already written in the whole template. So all the contributors will get the share based on the contribution on the proof of work. So even think like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let us suppose 4 are my contribution, 2 are from someone else, and this one was able to successfully mine the block. He will not get the whole profit. Everyone will get, and that is peer to peer. So you don't need to. There is no single boss who will decide who will get what. This is the whole mechanism which will convert and do that. Okay, so this was P2 pool, but we will move back. What differently Braidpool did. So here, if you see, this, there is no linear connection or communication, because instead of a straight chain, they use a braid, which is nothing but a cyclic graph. If you will see, these are all the graph. And once I will say acyclic graph or direct acyclic graph means, see, it will be going from one direction. It should be in one, but it can be many branches and multiple single or anything. Okay. Anyone might have used mesh topology or have heard about mesh technology. In fiat world, you also use mesh topology. You might have seen like Wi-Fi also support mesh, and there are so many mesh networking. Everyone is working for networking. They might be aware of a mesh topology. So the same kind of thing you can think of in this. Okay. But here there are two pictures. You will see the first one and the second one. So first one is the thin bread, means when something thin, as the name suggests, it is thin, right? Not so many branches. And if you will see another one, that is thick bread, because it looks little denser. Many more breads are created quickly, right? At the same time. And you might be thinking, okay, what is this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Is these are minors? No, these are not the minors. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the weak blocks which we discussed. So it might happen you have contributed 10 blocks, and that would be 0, 1, 10, 8, 17, 23 or anything, right? So they will put the numbering. So there is a numbering system. Based on that, they will calculate all those things. So for here, there are two types of bread. One is thin and thick, which is denser. And the difference is here, they have easier targets. So miner will find and submit the weak shares. Once I'm saying weak shares means weak blocks or weak share or beads. They call it BEADS. Okay. 1 second. Let me increase the font a little bit. And in thin bread, maybe the difficulty is higher. That's why not all the one would able to mine the block quickly. That's why it is thin, right? So it should be a configuration of the lower and the higher difficulty, right? So here, if I will move back here, you will see these are in uh, same line, right? Same group, I would say. So these you can think of cohorts, right? Means the vertical lines which you are seeing, that means in that these batch of work was done in one short period. So maybe these would be done in one short period, these would be done in different, these done in this time, this, in this time, this. So this is the cohorts, and there is a highlighted arrow, it is going right. So this is the highest working path. So this is the single best path through the entire bread that has the most accumulated work. Because if you will see, here you don't have most accumulated work. Here you don't have. This is the one which has most accumulated work, because there are so many weak shares you will able to find in this line. So this will be treated as highest working path. There are multiple possible ways, but the one which has most accumulated work will always known as HWP. How they will measure the work? So they will see the descendant work. which you have done it, work after it, and also ancestor, and the final tiebreaker. So based on that, they will do the target and difficulty. So there are general configuration which they make. So there would be a general Bitcoin target, which is the normal global, I should say the Bitcoin difficulty for a real block, right? But for their configuration, they will make a minimum target. So this is through this you can control how many weak shares each can contribute. So minimum target, like maybe the Bitcoin target is 10 power something, and you just make it half, and you just made this is the minimum target. If you will able to calculate this, share the weak share. Okay. And per miner also, you can create a weak target. Like let us suppose per miner will aim for maybe bid in 20 seconds. I'm just roughly putting, right? Ideally, it like generally every 10 minutes, if you will see, average block time is 10.2 minutes, right? So this configuration you do for weak block shares. So once you do all those things, what will happen? No single company controls block building and payout because everyone is creating a weak blocks related template. They have the node which is broadcasting it, and every will one will take care of this acyclic graph. And the rule is the most work done will be the high or HWP. Okay. And in that, let us suppose this is the one 14 or 0. Let us suppose this is the one who were the successful block. So in that case, all others who have contributed that will get each share, and that has been already written in the template. That will make the pool decentralized, and you don't need to trust someone that you will get the reward. And second thing is all the entire DAG. Once I'm saying DAG, so DAG is actually like I'm not sure um, if you are from computer science background, then maybe you might have heard about DAG a lot because people will ask these questions for graph related questions in coding. So that is the same directed acyclic graph. Okay, I will move back and here. So this graph which you are seeing, the thing is this will be stored and the system automatically figure out the best main path even many things is happening parallelly, because if you see these four things are happening parallelly, but internal node will able to find it out or figure it out the main path which they need to follow. Now, in a rough case, if I need to tell how people can run, so you should have, let us suppose I have a bit text, right? And I want to mine with my bitx on Braidpool, because in CK pool it is very easy, right? You go to CK pool, you find, um, let me show it to you. So you go to CK pool, uh, you choose the server EU, SG or AU, and you put your minor point to this, and you put this thing, and username is your Bitcoin address, and password you if you want you can ignore it. But in this case, if you want to run sorry, if you want to yes mine bitx, Using Bitex on Braidpool, you should run a Braidpool node. You can have any small machine in that you can run it. You can also run it in your older laptop as well. That is also fine. Or you have a server, you can also run that. But this is mandatory. Okay. So this is not an optional case like on other solo mining case, this is optional, right? If you don't want to run your node, you can just point it to the any solo mining pool. But in this case, you have to run your pool node because your node connects to other Braidpool nodes worldwide. Okay, so this node will connect to sorry to other Braidpool node using the same P2P mesh. Okay, and after that, it will download the bead. So bead is this small weak shares which you are seeing in the circle. Okay, so it will download this initial bead information which is required. It keeps the entire DAG into the local database, so it should be inside your node. Node should have the sufficient space. Then your Bitex will connect to your local node, and they generally use the same port, if I'm not wrong, the same 333 port which you are using here, because they will be also using Stratum internally protocol. If and then another question is who will give the template? Because Bitex will not create the template. Bitex is just a small home miner. So your own Breadpool node, which is you are running, will gives the node to the Bitex. Your node will talks to your uh, to maybe if you're not running a full node, maybe it will talk to any other Bitcoin full node which is available publicly, or maybe in the same machine if you're running, then also fine. Then Bitcoin node will give them a normal block template because see in the mempool if you connect it, or maybe let us suppose I have connected to any other node, right? That node will give me a Bitcoin full node, but that will contain say a small block normal block template like list of transaction and the whole format which everyone follows. But Braidpool node which you are running locally will add some extra data, like it will create a Braidpool data like the commitment with your payout address, parents, etc. All those information should be there, and it sends this mining job to the Bitex, and then your Bitex will start mining because it will get the template. It will start trying different nonce, changing nonce, find a hash that meet the weak target because you don't need to find it out. Uh, 1 second, it don't need to find it out the Bitcoin target. It just sorry, yes, it just need to find it out the weak target which is configured, and the weak target will be a very easy difficulty. So maybe you will find the weekly shares beats frequently. Once I'm saying beats frequently, means sharing your weak shares like this more frequently. And when your Bitcoin finds something, it will send your solution to the Breadpool node. Breadpool node will check whether it is valid or not. What Bitex has been done is valid or not. If yes, it will create a new beats here. Okay. So let us suppose I'm running a Bitcoin sorry Bitex miner. It done some it done some calculation, find out the norms, reach the minimum weak difficulty, send it back to the node. Node will verify it. If it is valid, it will add this one. So that is showing I'm doing something, and the weak shares I will be adding, or the beats I will be adding. Then what will happen? Other nodes will also be doing the same thing because everything is running parallelly, right? Maybe I have contributed 21 at the same time, maybe others. So it will be keep syncing with other nodes as well. So they add it, and then also the system will recalculate this HWP, means the highest working path, which you are seeing in this highlighted page. It will be keep calculating, and then it is not like this, like I have or Bitex have mined a weak block, I will get the reward. No, you will not. The system will be keep tracking all the shares which I have made. Let us suppose I have done 38, 31, 21, 13, 5, right? It will be doing all those calculation. Maybe let us suppose Bitcoin was successfully mined here, and they are using PPLNS. If maybe I'm not sure if you have used uh, centralized exchanges, you might be aware of PPLNS, and I covered in previous session as well. So this is pay per last N shares. Means if Bitcoin was mined in 100 share, maybe before 100, how many people were doing the contribution, they will only get the reward. Okay, that means if you are consistent, keep contributing 24 cross 7, you will always be eligible for your reward. So payout will happen in the same way. So let us suppose I'm keep contributing, and the Bitcoin mine, sorry, block got mined here. I can will get the reward. Let us suppose they have told, and shares that is maybe 100 till here, everyone will receive it. If I haven't done it after that, I will not receive it. So how many shares I have done in the last n shares when the real Bitcoin block were found, then the rewards will get distributed fairly based on the recent work. And here the important thing is payout will not go to via to BTC or this, and they have the liability to give it to you, the percentage. No, the payout go directly to the P2TR address. You put it your beads metadata. So your address should be in this beads metadata which you are contributing. So in that, the payout will directly reach to you. This is the way if you want to get little bit more consistent pay as compared to the lottery mining, you can use Braidpool, and that will help in the decentralization because many peoples are coming together helping to mine the block. If you, I will also, you will find this link. You can go through it. You will find more technical details how Braidpool calculate all those things. But I just trying to make it simple so everyone will able to understand it little better and will understand that this is not a new thing. Earlier also people have tried it and people are doing it. And this is see all those calculation they do internally, and based on that they will calculate. Okay, you will find whole architecture related details. So use the same stratum V1 which we discussed, and this is the DAG engine which will be running in your bread node. So this is your node. Then it will go to the P2P network, whatever the event loop is happening. So this is more on the coding perspective. As a miner, you don't need to understand how the event loop and these things is happening because this will be taken care of the node. Once you set up your node, this is already taken care by the node. So this is the local database which I was talking about. In that, all the data states and things will get stored, and based on that the recent n will get all those information. Okay, so yeah, that's all from my side, guys. If you have any question, anything regarding this, feel free to ask. And uh, I think paper was having some doubts. I think we have covered it. And rest of the things he can ping me later. I will try to answer those things as well because maybe I need more context for that. So any other question or anything, yeah, please feel free to ask. I will share this link as well so you can go through it. This old uh, mail threads or chain. You might see this Linux Foundation because most of the earlier contributors were the Linux contributors. They contributed to the Bitcoin open source ecosystem. I mean, this was the Bitcoin dev Google groups earlier, which is not right now available. So yeah, anyone has any question, any things, feel free to ask. If no, then I think we are good for the day.